And good afternoon. How's everybody doing? It is time for the weekly update for week 3 of Rite of the 9. For those new here, this is the update series where I cover everything new going on inside the week of Destiny, from our core playlist Rotators to the rotating dungeons, exotic missions, and etc., as well as the bright dust offerings only inside the Eververse store. So everything can be earned while playing the game and nothing purchased with silver. So if you want to stay up to date each week, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can get notified when these things go live each and every week. That said, for those interested, I'll be live this evening over on Twitch with a few members of my clan while we play through the newest content rotation for the Rite of the 9 with the Ghost of the Deep dungeon. So feel free to come out and check that out. We'll also be doing some GM runs if time permits for some of us. But yeah, that said, let's go ahead and dive into the update, shall we? So starting off with our core playlist Rotators. Over in the land of Vanguard, our weekly GM this week is going to be Inside Terminus. The weapon is going to be the Slammer Stasis Vortex Sword, as well as the Cruel Mercy, again. I'll have a link to those weapons in the description below as well, if you want to check out the various rolls you can get on it. Alright. Then over in Crucible, as you can tell, there's a Crucible bonus for this week, as well as the return of Iron Banner, both Control and Eruption, so you can choose how you want to play it. And also this week is the first week of the Nature Reclaimed Solar Scout Rifle, which will also be in the description below if you want to check out what you can get for those rolls. Alright. Then, for the Rite of the 9 over in Eternity, as I said previously, it's going to be Ghost of the Deep this week, as well as next week. However, next week will be double rolls. I'll remind people of that next week. I'll have the description, I'll have links to the various weapons you can get this from this dungeon in the description below, so you can make sure you farm the right ones you want. And then, for our rotating raids, they're both going to be in the Legends tab. My apologies. We're going to have Vault of Glass with the Vex Mytho class, as well as the newly, I guess, reprised or slash craftable weapons for the raid. And then the second raid is going to be Croya's End with the questline for Necrochasm as Catalyst. So if you're trying to get anything crafted from either of those two raids, it's a good week to farm it out. So feel free to fire team and get to it. For our dungeons, first up we have the Ghost of the Deep, shocker, as our first one. So if you're trying to get the Navigator, good time to farm it out. And then I believe our second dungeon this week, this may change, I'll have it in the pinned comment below if you want to have a confirmation. This week I believe is Prophecy, even though it doesn't show it on the screen right now. And then for our weekly exotic mission is going to be Vox Obscura for the Dead Messenger grenade launcher. Alright. Next up to the ℕ𝕚𝕚𝕚, we have for our weekly co-op mission, Iconoclasm. So don't forget, you'll need at least a partner with you, as there's going to be certain enemies that you shoot the front and back up at the same time, as well as 2 nodes in various areas to be able to progress further. They shoot at the same time as well. And then our current daily matchmade overthrow is over here in the landing. So if you're trying to get a good roll on Ergo Sum or your exotic class item, it's a good zone to farm it out in. Alright. In the Dreaming City, for the Ascendant Challenge, is going to be the Shattered Ruins over in the Spine of Karis, which is up here on the map. It's also the Medium Week, so there's going to be a little bit more taken than usual, but not as much as it's going to be the Strong Week. Alright. Then for our Lost Sector rotation, we begin on the ℕ𝕚𝕚𝕚 over here in the Blooming with the Blooming Deep. So if you're trying to make sure you have an overload and unstoppable, so if you're trying to get anything done for your Guardian rank or your seasonal challenges, feel free to knock it out here. That said, the rest of the rotation for the week, and I'll have this in the description in the pinned comment below as well. On Wednesday, we'll be going over Europa with Bunker E15. Then on Thursday will be Perdition, also on Europa. Then on Friday, we're going to fly over to the Cosmodrome with Vale's Labyrinth. And then on Saturday, will be Exodus Garden 2A, also on the Cosmodrome. And then on Sunday, jumping to the Dreaming City with Alphean's Rest. And then on Monday will be Chamber of Starlight. So it's a good rotation of Lost Sectors this week. And then don't forget, I'll have it in the pinned comment below, so you can keep up to date as these dungeons rotate, these Lost Sectors rotate. Alright, then lastly, over on Neptune, for our current weekly terminal overload, is going to be down here in Lemming Harbor. And then our current daily Vex incursion zone will be up here in Ashma Park until reset tomorrow. Alright. And that is it for week 3 of Ride the 9. Now we're going to check out the seasonal challenges for the week. So you can get some bright dust for what's in the Eververse store. Alright. So for the new week, we have Heresy Weapon Defeats. Defeat combatants anywhere in the system with episodic weapons. Earn bonus progress in episode Heresy activities. Episode Heresy weapons are listed in the Tools of Heresy Triumphs. So try and make sure you get the right weapons. That's how you find out. Then we have Cosmodrome activities. In the Cosmodrome, earn progress by completing bounties, patrols, public events, and lost sectors. Superpower Ritual. Defeat targets in any ritual activity with Arc, Void, or Strand super final blows. Defeating opposing guardians earn bonus progress. Potent Projectiles. Defeat guardians in Crucible or Gambit with fusion rifles, glaives, rocket launchers, machine guns, or trace rifles. Stranded. Defeat guardian in any Crucible playlist with stranded damage. And then lastly, bank, kill, repeat. Earn points by banking moats, defeating blockers, and defeating guardians in Gambit. Ooh, excuse me. Alright. And that is it for our seasonal challenges. Lastly, let's go ahead and head over to the Eververse store. Once again, for anyone new here, I only cover offerings that are for Bright Dust, nothing with silver, so you can earn everything while you play the game. Alright, so first up on the first page, we have the Simon Says multiplayer emote. We have the Bushwhacker Ghost Shell. We have the Capsule Gang Transmat Effect. Heat Shielded Shader. And the Raven Silk Shader. Alright, next up, and real fast, over on the Seasonal tab, and this will be the one where we do this, for 6,000 dust, there's going to be a class item set ornament for each class. So for Warlocks, we have the ℕ𝕚𝕚 set. It's very reminiscent of the Festival of the Lost armor set that we got back in October, but this is an entirely different armor set, and all 3 classes have their own. But again, this is the entire set for 6,000 Bright Dust. Alright, then on the Bright Dust tab, we have the Group Photo multiplayer emote. We have the Smooth Dance emote. The Aragorn Ghost Shell. The Steel Sky Ship. For everyone who wants to fly around a dragon. The Astrocon Sparrow. The Fatal Howl weapon ornament for Dead Messenger. And the Tome projection for your ghost. Alright, next we have the Bruised Blush shader. We have the Chitin Slate shader. The Jungle Viper shader. And the ℕ𝕚𝕚 shader. Next we have the Vex Gate Arrivals Transmat effect, the Ghost Purple Transmat effect, and lastly the Vex Incursion Transmat effect. Alright, and that is it for week 3 of the Rite 9 content update. Once again, I'll be live this evening over on Twitch with link in the description below. And don't forget, in the description as well will be any of the various weapons I've discussed on this video that you can click their links and see what roles you can get. Hope you all have a wonderful 3rd week. Hope you can farm out what you need. And I will see you next video, everybody. Goodbye.